I've had my Tesla Model 3 long range for a little over 12 months, and I thought it was a good time to look back at the costs over the first 12 months of ownership. Many people have a perception that electric cars are too expensive for them, and they don't even get as far as looking into the costs. And if you're considering an electric car, then hopefully you will find this video helpful. If you're only interested in the bottom line, then if I was to sell my Tesla today, then it has cost me about £550 per month for everything: the car, the insurance, the running costs and electricity. If, like me, you'd like to know the details, then please keep watching and I'll unpick the numbers. First, let's look at the purchase cost of the car. In December 2020, I paid £49,400 for my Tesla Model 3. I chose the long range model with a standard interior. I kept the white paint as it would cost £1,000 to change the colour, and I changed the wheels for the sport wheels as they look so much better on the car. I bought the car through a limited company, so I have saved the corporation tax against the purchase price, but I'll do a separate video on that as it's very complicated, so for the sake of simplicity, I'll ignore that in this video. For comparison, that does mean that I'm not paying off any finance on the car, as my company owns the car outright, so please factor that into my numbers. Other costs over the last 12 months include my insurance and running costs. For insurance, I went with Churchill as they gave me the best price. I do have 15 years no claims, and this is for myself and my wife, fully comp with legal protection and a protected no claims as well, and it was £550 a year. With an electric car, there's very little to service, so my servicing costs have been zero so far, and I'm still on my first set of tyres. Now let's look at the charging costs. It's worth adding a big disclaimer here, as electricity prices in the UK are soaring at the moment, so these are all based on what I paid, not what it would cost today. So you can run your own calculations. Okay, so I travelled almost exactly 10,000 miles in the last 12 months of ownership. The charging numbers aren't exact, but I've been as accurate as I can be with estimates. For 70% of those miles I charged at home. I'm on the Octopus Go tariff where you pay less overnight, and my current electricity rate, although I'm sure this is going to be going up, is 5p per kilowatt for 4 hours overnight. I have a 7 kilowatt charger, so that is enough to put in 28 kilowatts of electricity at the reduced rate overnight, which equates to about 30% charge. Anyway, in the first 12 months I used 2,150 kilowatts at home at a cost of £107.50 for the year. The rest of my miles were completed on road trips, and for 90% of these miles I used the Tesla superchargers, which are free to me at the moment as I have some referral miles, and the rest of the time I used other paid for chargers. Tesla have removed the referral scheme now, so for the sake of comparison I'll use the current Tesla rate of 26p per kilowatt hour. Now this does get complicated because Tesla charges different prices based on the speed of the charger, but again for simplicity I'll just average out at 26p. And I estimate that I've used 700 kilowatts at public chargers in this time. Some of the non-Tesla chargers were closer to 40p per mile, so I'll average out all of my public charging at 30p per kilowatt hour. That means without the free referral miles from Tesla, I would have spent £210 at public chargers over the last 12 months. Okay, so I hope you're still with me as this is all sounding a little confusing. In total, at home and on the road, I spent £317.50 on electricity to travel 10,000 miles. That works out at 3p per mile. And if I'd only charged at home, then I'd be looking at about 1p per mile. For comparison, at a petrol price of £1.50 per litre, which I know is hard to come by at the moment, our old Volvo XC60 would have cost 29p per mile. So I would have spent nearly £3,000 on fuel for the same mileage versus £317 on electricity. So the running total is £49,400 for the car, £550 for insurance and £317 for electricity. Let's also add in the cost of the home charger, which was £1,000, but there are cheaper options available. So that makes my total cost £50,267. So a big one is depreciation. So what's my car worth now? And according to Auto Trader, my car is still worth £44,400. So if I was to sell the car today, then it has cost me £5,847 for the year, which is £487 per month, which is a lot of money. But considering my old car, I was spending close to £200 a month on fuel, which would be £350 on current prices, plus the annual servicing of about £300, plus the monthly lease, which was also about £300, then you can see that the electric car is cheaper than you might think. Now I must admit, doing the numbers, it has cost me a little more per month than I would have thought, but I am driving around in a brand new, lovely family car in our Tesla Model 3, and I way prefer it to our old Volvo XC60, and it's saving me money too. I could have saved money by using less public chargers, as they are expensive, and I have seen some that are getting close to 70 pence per kilowatt, which is crazy high. At home, my electricity rate overnight is soon increasing to 15 pence per kilowatt hour from 5 pence, and so the costs will be going up. And for that reason, I've installed solar panels at home, and I'm using the sun to charge the car during the day for free, which is nothing short of amazing. I'll do a video on that soon. I'm fully aware that I've not factored in any financing costs, and so my numbers are just relevant to me. But if you work them out based on my running costs for the car, for the electricity and the insurance, are about £964 for the year, so £80 a month. You can add that on to any financing deal that you look at. The last one I saw was about £550 a month for a PCP deal, but of course it depends on the deposit that you put down at the beginning. And my most interesting conclusion from making this video is that I haven't saved as much money as I actually thought I had, but it's also interesting that my Model 3 is significantly cheaper per month than my Volvo was, and I definitely know which car I'd rather be driving. I'm really interested to see how the savings continue to grow over the next few years, as there really isn't very much to service on the Tesla, and I'm interested to see then what my running costs will be at the 3 and 5 year marks versus a combustion engine car. Anyway, I really hope you found this video useful. Please remember to like and subscribe, and let me know in the comments if there's any future topics you'd like me to cover. Cheers.